Now, when we talk about the population wise religion, so majority of the people in India, approximate 79.8%, they are Hindu. And as I had already discussed, that India does not have any official language. Although the majority is Hindu, but still we have maintained our democracy, and this democracy is only actually root of such harmony in India, that all the religion is been accepted and given the respect by the government, and for that particular reason we have a very good harmony. Even if you will find, irrespective of all religion, caste, as well as you can see the languages, the Indian people, they have a very good harmony. They stay, especially if you will see the Mumbai. So irrespective of caste, religion and languages, they all are just mixed like a veil. Now, when we talk about the number of Hindus, see, all this data is given by, collected by last 2011 census. That is 96.63 crore Hindus are there, and approximate 79.8%. When we talk about percent wise, Muslims are 14.2, second major religion into the India, and population wise, they are approximate 17.22. Now, this data will be absolutely changed, because now every 10 years we do this census. So, if with new census, the data may vary. Then, third major religion is the Christianity. We have 2.3% of the Christians, approximate population wise, if we will see. So it may vary, but approximate as per 2011 census, they are 2.78. Next religion, the majority of the people is 1.7% believing into the Sikhism, and population is 2.08 crore approximately. Next religion, this particular religion is originated in India only, but only 0.7% population believes in that. Although this population number is less, Buddhist numbers are less, but many believer of Gautam Buddhas are there. Means they are Hindu, they belongs to the Hinduism, but they also follow the Buddhism. Means they respect the Gautam Buddha's teaching. The next religion, population-wise, Buddhists are, or Bodh, they are approximate 0.84 crores. Jain, when we talk about, 0.4%, and if we will see numbers, 0.45 crores. When we talk about the other religion, they are zero point 0.7 approximate like Buddhist, and population is 0.79 crore. Now, when we talk about the people, those who have not stated their religion or do not believe in any religion, or you can say unatheist, they are approximate 0.2%, and population wise 0.29 crore. Just a minute, someone wants to enter in the class. No. Yes, Sushruti?
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you said that India doesn't have any national language. Am I right?
Yes.
Ma'am, then what is Hindi?
Yeah, it is majority of the people. They are the following the Hindi language, or you can say the Hindi speaker. And as the many people, they are the Hindi spoken. So for that particular reason, many of the time the Hindi is considered or taken as the official language, so that the majority of the people can understand. And see, major official languages. Now see, for making the government record or the official record, there is a need of to, means you can say, centralize some language. So they have taken it, but it is not like that that you will be forced to do, or you will be forced to use the Hindi as the language. India has no official language, but because of the major religion of the world which are existing in India, and more majority of the population, they understand Hindi as a language. Hindi nowadays it is spread in other countries also. They are also because of the easiness and the beauty of the language. This language is accepted throughout the world, but it is not at all official language. Now, as I told you that
Ma'am,
officials, they have to accept the some important language. So major languages are been considered and taken as the officially, and out of that, Hindi, Bengali and Telugu, and whichever you can say, if we will talk about Maharashtra, so the majority of the people, they are Marathi speaking. Okay, so official language, or you can say majoritarily, we are doing all the official work into the Marathi language.
ma'am, so it's
Understood?
just the mindset people are like, as you said, all this thing.
Hmm?
So I think like people have this one mindset that India doesn't have a official language, because if India never had an official language, then I don't think in all the documents and all the form you would have chosen Hindi and wrote as your language, ma'am. I mean, that would have become completely senseless part. I feel that.
Hmm.
What would you say on this?
I didn't get you, man.
Ma'am, you explained that in Hindi is not an official language, and like people accept it because of the majority and all.
Hmm.
Okay, I consider your point. What you said was completely valid,
Yeah.
but then I feel like maybe there would be majority of people who would have this mindset that India doesn't have any official language,
Hmm.
because if that would have been actually a fact that India doesn't have an official language,
Yes.
then I don't think in any of the documents any student or any person would opt for Hindi and choose for Hindi
Hmm.
as their language or anything.
Yes. Yes,
So
definitely. See, earlier there was whatever documents were there, it were mandatory to fill in certain language, but now that option has been eliminated. Everywhere you will find that two or three languages are there. Even if you will see your birth certificate, there is your regional language as well as the English language is there. Understood?
yeah, okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you pardon the last statement? What you said?
What?
The last statement I couldn't hear you actually properly. The birth certificate thing.
Yeah, if you will see the birth certificate, you will find two languages are there, and many other official documents. Even if you will see the nikah nama, in the case of the Muslims, you will find there are two languages, Urdu as well as the English. Understood? Because just like you tell, okay, ma'am, not necessarily that student will like to learn the Hindi, they will opt for the Hindi as a major subject, right? So not necessarily if they are belonging to the Muslim community, they will learn this Urdu as a major subject and they understand the Urdu. So for better understanding, more than one languages are being used. Even the notices nowadays, you will find that even the government notice, whatever circulars they are sending, they are sending in two language, because the population nowadays, majority of the population, they are the educated, and for that particular reason they are introducing English as the major language, because of literacy. English is majorly understood by the majority of the people. But still, I will stick to the statement that India do not have any official language. Shall we go ahead?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Now we have already discussed about all this religion, but this important point you all are supposed to note down all the important points of all the major religion into the India. As I told you that we do not have any official state religion or official religion. We do not have any such thing in India because of now why all these things have been included into the constitution. The reason behind that, as we have multilingual, multi-regional countries, so that the any, you can say, any religion or any population should not feel like dominant over other, to enjoy the complete democracy. Such thing has been added into the constitution, so that it guarantees the freedom of all of the religion. One can follow any practice of the religion, his or her choice. Main religions, they see, if you will study the all religion thoroughly, at the end you will come to a conclusion that all the religion wants to convey a single message, that is the humanity. All the religion, all the belief, they just want to empower the humanity, so that the people will become the good people. So for that particular that thing was understood, and that thing was kept as a priority. And nowadays, if you will observe, that there is no such bar of accepting any type of the religion in almost all the country, but in India it was there, and it was added into the constitution that no one have any power to change their religion. Okay, now when we talk about the first religion, we will be talking about the Hinduism. As the majority of the population, they belongs to the Hindu religion. That means, if we will see from 2011 census, so percent wise, Hindu belongs 79.8%, or you can say person while in crore person wise in crores, 96.63 people, they belongs to this particular religion. So when we talk about the Hinduism, so their holy book is Bhagavad Gita. That is believes as the main and the most sacred book into the Hinduism. It advocates the four main values, that is the dharma, kama, moksha, and artham is also there. The four, all those four values, these are based on the understanding that the human have the varied needs. So for that particular reason, on the basis of that, all these four root or the four main points are given. Now when we talk about the dharma, so dharma in very layman language, we understand that dharma is the religion. Actually, dharma refers to the duties which individual must fulfill. It also includes the virtues. It also includes a person with virtues, they have to perform the duty with discipline as well as the dedication. Virtue leads to the reflection over right and wrong, what is right, what is wrong. To understand this thing is called as the dharma. We should not do any injustice. We should not means we should help the poor. We should be disciplined to our parents. When we talk all such duties, so all this duty, it is called as the dharma. Now next thing is the artha. Actually, artha means it refers to the desire for power over the nature, and many you can say desire for wealth, desire for many any other thing, whatever that, whatever you desire. So that is called as the artha. Then next is, as I told you, that the Hindu religion, all these points, these are based on understanding of the human have varied needs. So these points or you can say this main sutra of the religion, it is based on the need and the understanding that what the people should do. And the next important thing is the karma. When we talk about the kama, that is the desire of the pleasure. Now see, first we have learned about the desire of the wealth, but our body, it needs the other type of the desire also. Like we have the senses, we have five senses like sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. So all these senses are under the control of the mind to give pleasure to these senses and all, or you can say in just simple language, to satisfy our pleasure need or our psychological need is called as the kama. Next is the moksha. It is the state of liberation. Hindu culture, they uh, prescribe the two type of moksha. First moksha is the parvarti marg. It is consistent of satisfaction of the bodily needs and enjoyment of desirable object of the world. See, moksha is something like it is related to get rid of. So when we talk about satisfying body need, whatever needs are there, first type of moksha, that is the pravatti marg, that says to enjoy whatever desirable objects are there of the world and to stay connected and satisfy our body need. But the second type of the moksha, which is called as the nivritti marg, it is consist of the developing detachment from the materialistic world. That means we should not have any type of the attachment from the world, and we should not be connected. In short, you can say connecting with the god is known as the nivritti marg, and leaving everything behind in a special term in Hinduism is used as a sannyas for this particular type of nivritti mark. So when you are opting for this particular mark, you have to means you will get rid of all the bodily needs, all the desire, and you will be stay connected with the nature, or better you can say the god. Understood? So this is called as the nivritti mark. And see, there are many other points also there in the Hinduism which are not mentioned in your book also. In between this pravakti mark and nivritti mark also, there are many other points. They, like some people, they become this uh, that term is brahma kumar or something. So that means they get detachment, or they give up with the desire of the partner. So there are many other points in the Hinduism which are not been discussed, because these 4 points are the most important and the most probable point which can explain the base or the foundation of the Hinduism. And the next, majority of the people, they believe in the Islam, and the people, those who accept Islam as the religion, they are called as the Muslim. And these people, they will never ever believe in any idol worship, and they believe that the God, or better we'll say the Allah, is there, and it is there in the heart, and it is they are connected from their spirit to the Allah directly. And they consider, they believe that Prophet Muhammad, they are the great. Means there are many other prophet in Islam, but the last prophet, that is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is the last prophet and the greatest prophet. Now what do you mean by the prophet? Prophet means the English word for the prophet is Rasul. Sorry, Arabic word for prophet is the Rasul, and Arabic is the basic language. I forgot to tell you the basic or the main language of Hindu religion, that is the Sanskrit. And majority of their books that are mentioned into the Sanskrit language. It's same way in the case of the Islam, the main book, which was holy book, the most secret book, Quran, was given by Allah directly, and it is mentioned into the Arabic language. Now, how they that book is given? It is given to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he spread the knowledge. So it is the most secret book. Now, see, when as I told you that the all religion, they have their base or the pillars. So same way, the five primary duties of the devote of the Muslim is also given, and that is called as the five pillar of the Islam. The first is belief in Allah, that is the kalima. That what kalima, if we follow the Islam, so we should believe in Allah, and we should have that kalima in our heart. The kalima of Islam is la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. When we say La ilaha illallah, that I believe there is only and only one God, that is Allah Azawajal. And Muhammadur Rasulullah, I told you meaning of the Rasul, that is the messenger. That Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the messenger of the Allah. That means here we are accepting as Christianity, um, the messenger they have, so they are accepting. Now see, Christian, they believe in the god, and the Muslims, they also, you can say, it is the root of that religion only. Okay, so there were many religion, there were many Rasul sent by Allah as well, but at the end, the last Rasul was the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they are accepting the whatever sayings or whatever path suggested by Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they are following the same path. Now, second is the prayer 5 times in a day. Now, see the basic concept of this prayer. If you will observe the Muslim prayers, so you will find that it is based on the exercise. So, the person should not completely indulge into this particular world. So, for that reason, and after so much busy schedule, we may forget carrying our body. So for that reason, these prayers are been added. The one who follow or practice the prayer 5 times, they get the healthy body, because this prayer, if you will observe, that you have to get up and get down many times, and if time will give you have a time, you can watch how the prayer is been done. So you will find that this bodily exercise will give empower you. Then giving alms, that is the zakat. Now see, it is compulsory for all the Muslims that they have to calculate their earning. At least we should decide one day in year, and that particular time, whatever savings you have, whatever wealth you have, preferably the gold, you have to take the amount. Suppose I purchased one gold necklace, and that time the rate of gold was approximate 36,000 rupees per 10 grams, but now the rate has been changed. So I have to convert that amount in today's rate. Okay, so whatever rate is there, as per that rate, I have to calculate entire wealth, and I have to give 2.5% compulsorily to the needy people. Now, what is the reason behind this zakat? So that there will be equality into the society. The poor people, they will also get help from the rich people, and they will maintain the balance in the society, and they will not follow anything wrong. If they are getting alms, so they will not do the stealing or any, you can say, the criminal type activity. So this was the basic reason. And see, if I will ask you, you have 100 rupees, give only 2.5 rupees to someone, that will not be a burden for you also. So this is was made compulsory. Then Ramadan fasting. Many people now, those who care their body, so they offer fasting many of the time. Few are fasting once in a week, few are fasting 3 months, but 1 month fasting is compulsory in Islam. That is called as the Ramadan fasting. But there are also few people are excluded from this fasting. Means you can say the few group, the individual, those who are below the 7 years, then the lady who is pregnant, and the mother who is lactating, and the one who can have the threat of life if they will fast, and the one who is not sound mind. So they are, if they will not fast, means see, although the fasting is made compulsory, but these people, if they will not fast, so there is no bound or not compulsion on these people. Then Hajj visit, pilgrimage to Makkah and Medina at least once in your lifetime. Now see, if you will see zakat, one thing, belief in Allah, it is forever. 5 times prayer daily. This zakat, it is annual, and Ramzan fasting, it is also annual, and Hajj once in a life. Now we will talk about the next religion, which is believed the most in the majority, third majority of the population, that is approximate 2.78 crore people of the country believe in the Christianity, and percent-wise, if you will see, they are approximate 2.3% as per the census 2011. Now, Christian faith, it was introduced in India by the Apostle Thomas, who reached the Malabar coast, Kerala, in the year 52 AD. Now, when we talk about the Christianity, so they get root in India, especially after the Portuguese invention into the Goa, early 16th century, and later by the British in the near 17th century. So the when we talk about the holy book, so their holy book is the Bible, and this is also one book like Quran is believed as the most important. There are actually five books, five most important books are there, and this set of five books of Moses, that is called as the Torah, Zabur, Injil, Quran. So Injil term in Arabic is used for this Bible only. So this Christian religion, it is based on the 10 commandments of the Lord. The first commandment, that you shall have no other God before me. That means everyone must believe in the God. You shall not take the name of your God in the vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, see, the Sabbath day means they should keep one day as a holy or sacred, and they should visit the church and do the prayer at that particular time in a week. So, usually, Sabbath day is followed by majority of the Christian on Sunday, and they believe Sunday as the holy. As Muslims, they have the Friday as the most special day. So same way in the Christian, they believe Sunday as their Sabbath day, but not necessary. Some are following on the Saturday also. Now, next thing is added on this religion is the respect of the parent, that is honor your father and your mother. Then certain commendation given about the social life, that is, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery. Adultery means having the you can say the wrong sexual relationship. Then you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against the neighbor, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Covet means having it in a wrong way. So you should not have the wrong relation with the neighbor's wife. That you should not covet anything that not belongs to you and belongs to your neighbor. Now here the neighbor is concerned with the other people. Now next religion is the Sikhism. You can say the fourth major population, they belonging to Sikhism, approximate 1.7%, and if you will see the person wise 2.08%, they are Sikh in India. So see this particular religion, it was the founder of this religion was the Guru Nanak, and he later nine gurus were there, those who follow him and purge against the hypocrisy into the religion. So the holy book of the Sikh is Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib. Now this particular religion is the they have the basic rule, as we have learned about the other religion, that rules are called as the 5 Ks. So these are the religious symbol only. They have mentioned the first is, sorry, they believe that the hair is the best gift of the god. So it is suggested, or it is considered as the religious symbol in the Sikhism, that they can't cut their hair. Kesh means the hair. Kanga is the comb. As I told you, that hair is the major symbol and considered as the God gift. And they have suggested about the caring of their hair. That means they should comb their hair. Now see, they have to maintain the hygiene of the hair. So this Sikh lady, they are covering their hair with the veil, that as it is compulsory in Muslims also. So they have to cover their hair properly with the dupatta or some other way. And in the case of the men, they can use the turban like pagdi. And the next thing is the kada, that is the bracelet. Kirpan, that is the sword. They have to keep this weapon to eliminate the injustice from the society. Then the kacha, that is the shorts. The next religion is the Buddhism. It is the as I told you, it is started in India. The root is the in India only. So approximate 0.7% people and 0.84 crore people, they believe into the Buddhism. As I told you, that although this religion means the both, along with the both, many Hindus are there. They also follow the guidelines given by the Gautam Buddha. Approximate 85% of the Buddhists, they are located into the Maharashtra only. In Haryana and Mayana, they are the two major school of thought in the case of the Buddhism. So this Tripitaka is the holy book of the Buddhism. Student, note down the holy book name that can be asked in the MCQ form. The main aim of Buddhism to attain the nirvana, that is the ultimate spiritual goal. Nirvana, it means to achieve the enlightenment, that is the perfect peace and happiness. So the Buddha's teaching is highlighted for the four noble truths. All existence is dukkha, that is human life is full of struggle or sorrow. Dukh means sorrow. The cause of dukh is craving. Why this dukh is there? Why this sorrow is there? Because desire is the root cause of this all sorrow. We desire and we do not get, and then we become the sad. Cessation of dukkha, if you want to get rid of all this dukh, so you have to stop craving, you should stop desiring. So removal of all this desire, that leads to the removal of the sorrow. It is a very simple funda. So there is a path that leads from the dukkha. There is a path, eightfold path, that helps to remove all the sorrow and attain the nirvana. Now I told you nirvana is the happiness, perfect peace in our life. So when we talk about the noble eightfold path, it said the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood. You should not get the livelihood, bread and butter, with the wrong way. Right efforts, right mindfulness, then right concentration. If you will, in zoology, we all are going to learn the unit about your health. So there you will learn about the psychological health. So you will find that all this path, if you will follow, you will be getting a good psychological health. Come on, next we'll be talking about the next religion. It is Jainism. There is a spelling mistake. Okay, that was right. Judaism was right. Holy book is Torah is mentioned. Next is the Jainism. Sixth one is the Jainism. Okay, now when we talk about the Jainism, so they are mostly Jain. They people are mostly located into the Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. They follow the preaching of the Lord Mahavira. Lord Mahavira is the 24th Tirthankar of the Jainism. They text containing the teaching of Lord Mahavira. They are called as the Agamas. Okay, Now here you should note down text, because if you will find that they do not have such type of book, they are following these rules only. So Digambar and Shwetambar, they are the two sects of the Jainism. Three guiding principles are there. You can say the three jewels of the Jainism are there. One is the right perception, that is the Samyak Darshana, right knowledge, Samyak Janana, then right conduct, Samyak Chitra. In order to promote the spiritual development and to achieve the liberation, Jainism, they have laid down the five main vows. First is the ahimsa, that is the non-violence; satya, that is the truth; astya, do not steal; then brahmacharya, that is the chastity, or you can say the celibacy; then aparigrah, that is the renunciation or detachment from the world. So when we study all the religion, we will find that there is a very common thing in many religion. All they are just saying about to follow a correct path. The seventh religion is the Judaism, that is the religion, philosophy, and the way of life of the Jewish people. Now these are the minority in the India. Judaism, it is based on the laws and the commandment of the God that revealed to the Moses on the Mount Sinai. The holiest book is the Torah. As I told you, there is a set of five books of Moses. So one book Torah is there. Jews, this one of the first foreign religion to arrive in India, which is recorded as per the history. So it is the first foreign religion. Means they, these Jew people, they have come before the Christian also. Approximate 50% of these Jew people, they lives into the Manipur and Mizoram. 25% people are found into the Mumbai. Next is the Zoroastrianism, that is Parsi. They follow the teaching of the religious teacher Zoroaster. The principle of this religion, it is mentioned into the Zend Avesta, their holy book, their sacred book. They include the belief in the afterlife. That means afterlife. Now every religion they believe afterlife also, and in continuous struggle of the universal spirit of good versus evil. The Parsi, they are very small minority, and they are mostly located into the Mumbai only. Their population is very much small. So this is all about the religions in India. So we have the beauty of this multicultural society, of this multi religions only. So if you will study and understand the basic rule of the religion, you will come to know, you will come to a conclusion that all religion, they just say that to be a good human. So with this note, we'll stop for today. We'll continue into the next class. We'll discuss in detail about the caste into the next class.